My first book is 12 Cantos and their poems, and the poem I'm going to read is from my book In Vicissitude of Dissipated Dreams. The title of the poem, The Sun Would Be Born Again. It has 20 poems. Someone with black flags, someone with black flags in their hands, crying, dismiss the chief minister, dismiss the prime minister, dismiss the chief minister, dismiss the prime minister. We are hungry from several days, for we are not paid our salaries. Our children are hungry. Old mother, father, and wives are dined with due comfrey. Dismiss, dismiss, dismiss. And police caught them, arrested and sent them to the jail. Lady of the Dark, a young lady crowned with fear and blood, bleeding from her head intensely. Long hairs are soaked, her long hairs are soaked in blood. Her eyes are fearfully crying. Who can see her here? Nostrils bleeding, someone have attacked on her body. That poor lady who stole my heart in the prison of sorrow, with calarium in her eyes and vermilion lined her head, showing the Hindu religion, but mingled with blood and sorrow, blood-stained mouth, virgin, virgin, virgin. Her glorious youth, someone attacked her. Her husband could do nothing that time. When some terrorists did wrong with her, her house was set on fire. The whole village was set on fire. SPs, sub-inspectors, policemen came, but the terrorists had flown away from there before they came. And the whole village was burnt. Crops were too on fire. Many of them were set on fire. And who tried to be out were summoned last to the bullets of the rifles. They had come and revenged against them for some land of the earth. How could they come out when rifles were shooting, burning? And in the towns some were dead in wine massacre, in the hotels or anywhere else on the public roads. Like a murder scene lying about on the roads, that lady grows her feet with fearfulness. The police station was so far from there. She was the only woman who, however, was alive in that bloody massacre of innocent civilians. Or was it that terrorists and extremists were trying to make a country of their own, Khalistan or Arvistan? But Prime Minister and his wife, now dancing for a change in the country, attend important meetings. Who can speak against them? What are being done in the assemblies, parliament houses, in the public courts when she is in trouble? One country attacks on other countries, but politicians have made such troubles. She grows with her feet towards the police station. Swarna Mandir has been treated wrong, and Punjab's 5 rivers have turned into blood. What is the secret? What will happen in the future? There is nothing but sorrow, nothing but sand, nothing is but there. Or can I paint the future? The human of the inner is dead, and we are left here alone in the lurch. Sri Lanka is also troubled with sacred negotiations. Afghanistan, China, Russia are also troubled with negotiations. What will happen? The whole world is troubled now. The homes of security are silent now. When to defeat one country, one fights in the battlefield. A body lying in the trench. Will this earth be again troubled with a world war? As the fourth will happen with stones and nails, when the Iron Age will end, the development of science will have decadence. Our degradation, exploitation, the blue color of the sky will seem nothing, the airs will become hot, and waters hot and black, seas will happen hot, and the rays of moon too, instead of the sun, and the sun would heat maximum. Then how will the human beings live here? Now the rifles and cannons in the battlefield, bombing from the sky, and the heart of the people is dark, splashing in selfishness of its own and narrow feelings, as Einstein imagined a war of nails and stones, a war of selfishness, a war of narrow mindedness, a war of monsters will again forth bring, but not of the heaven. All the brigands will take place and rushing together. The civilization will end with a little satisfaction of a skill lost in massacres. Mountains are troubled with sorrow. Mountains are troubled with sorrow. Who will then know the names of world record breakers? Who will then know the names of world record breakers? They should also try to make their names in bloodhounds. The trees are standing on their paths, and the rivers are stuck bloody. She is trying to grow her feet intensely. She got a trench and fell down. Some ladies and gents are being sunken away into the river. What is there? Chagrin cast away. Do you think what will happen? Who will save them? Dead. She got into trouble. With a child of little age stuck with her right arm, sucking the milk of her breast, and a beautiful baby in her left hand, her husband has gone somewhere. She is left alone or has forgotten her husband. That small baby is also wrapped intensely by the extremists and her small child. Her son, with a small piece of bread in his right hand, chewing with fear, for he has grown now old. He is troubled with anger and sorrow, poignant scintilla coming out from his two eyes. He is in big anger. He sees the situation well. He does not recognize a body lying in the trench. Is he his dead father, stabbed with a dagger in his chest, his mouth stained with blood? He is dead now. Her mother recognizes the body. His nostrils are bleeding, eyes are dead, open, fearful. Open, fearful. She got so many troubles in recognizing the body, coaxing with fear those fretful stars and pathetic flowers, burst into tears even the starry sky. This earth seemed poorer without him. The body was left in helter-skelter, so she could not recognize well her dead husband or his poor father. Save us here, the mob cried solemnly. The truck was beating fast. The trains were running fast on the lines. Some were crushed under it. Punjab Mail is crossing. But who can listen to the anguishes and cryings? The The mob goes ahead. What shall we do now? Ever more and more and more. We are defeated but not yet ashamed. We have been captured into the dungeon of darkness. But yet we are free and not mobbed. Sayings of a dead self revolutionary. The child creaking his teeth and snarling, the child creaking his teeth and snarling his eyes to see the situation of loneliness. Even a child is troubled. He does not know his father is dead. In a massacre, he was self revolutionary. How we are crushed within walls, oh friend, how we are. How we are crushed within walls, oh friend, how we are. Do you think how we are troubled with walls? We should ignore such idealism. We should ignore such idealism. Walls within walls are with creaking sound, crackling, cracking. We are inside the wall, crushing. How we are troubled among bushes and thorns. How we are troubled among bushes and thorns. Oxygen comes through the little vessels of the earth. Drink through the nostrils. Drink, drink, drink. Oxygen comes through the little vessels of the earth. Drink through the nostrils. Drink, drink, drink. Oh, we have been left here alone with the stones on our bodies, trenches in our chests. Oh, friend, we will die without name, without fame, without a game of chance. We will breathe last. But, oh friend, our lives have not been fossils. We will remain alive for centuries and centuries. The fag ends of time will tell the truth. The fag ends of our bodies will live in the earth, and after some centuries, when this earth will be dug, while great, shining, imposing buildings of exploiters will live in our chests, making a history, they will find us here. Yes, they will find our remnant parts, our dry bones. They will use of it. When this earth will be troubled, they will use it. When this earth will be troubled, then with its heat, the earth will burst out and decay all bad things. They will be annoyed and troubled with its heat. They will be embarrassed and having lost their recognitions. They will die, remain with their cut off hands. In the language of fire, leading the humanity not purposelessly, the leader would be a scientist, a destroyer, and not would be a poet. No, never, impossible. A policeman taking the rifle in his arms, coming towards that injured poor lady of bad situations. While in the trench, oh fearful lady, what's happened to you? The child sneered and snarled with anger on him, showing his teeth to see the situation of the country, but bad environment of administration, showing his teeth to see the situation of the country, bad environment of administration. She has been arrested and no judgment upon her taken seriously. The child is also angry with the human position. The child is also angry with the human position. Is it the human civilization and the human culture on the red hot iron bars? On the red hot iron bars, in the language of fire, is the human tradition falling. In the language of fire is the human tradition falling with dying energies and dark conscience concealing. Blooming calendula in the mausoleum, what is about the Ethiopian children a rat, or amnesty scheme. What are the young men doing here? World without pity. Such questions may be absurd, but absolutely true. Nuclear war. Airs on the rampage still for a nuclear war. Waters are troublesomely trying to whisper with the hot summer. Airs on the rampage still for a nuclear war. Waters are troublesomely trying to whisper with the hot summer. The fire on the mountains responsible for the airs. Summer's voice. Here is the summer has dried up the whole old winter in a chill into its arms. It is the summer's voice. Summer is in the head of the people. Summer is in the eyes. Summer has cut its feet everywhere. Human beings are now troubled with such hot summer. Old dying citizens among the cinder pit, all the inner precincts. Among the cinder pit, all the inner precincts. A police officer dead in a truck mishap. A police officer dead in a truck mishap. He was crushed deliberately and just like an ordinary people when the driver and just like an ordinary people when the driver was hanged on the gibbet. All drivers were on a strike. How can judges come to the courts? How can judges come to the courts? Drivers are drivers, God are they who drive all parts of the world, seas, rivers, jungles, earth, sky, mountains, all over, weather-driven youth. A shrill sound of crying among bushes, jungles, hills, throbbing, exciting. Robbers are looting the travelers in the seas, the pirates, the voyagers in the space, bombers, the flying mirages, bombing on the earth, a scene of dryness, desert here, a scene of dryness, desert here, what are extremists and terrorists doing here, still in an imbroglio of war? Axis of the human mind like a tornado whispering or a tempest. Venoms flowing in the heart of the earth. Venoms flowing in the heart of the earth. Hot irons falling on the body of the crowd. Fire on the mountains. Fire, fire, don't go there. Fire, fire. Red hot irons. What is the language of fire? Burning my hopes, burning. Burning my hopes, burning. Oh, burning fire, thou shan't die, never. The fire laughs at me. The fire laughs at me. The wars are necessary. I am the fire. I can burn the seas, the jungles, the mountains, the whole earth I can. I am the burning fire. I am here, don't weep, don't cry. I am still here. I can save you also. I am the holy fire. Having decayed all bad things, I will appear. Having decayed all bad things, I will appear. Not cadaverous, intonation, hope of war. Sinister hoods are now sleeping. The Vasuki also is sleeping with its hoods. When you will awake, there will be a great movement in the heart of the earth. The venoms are now flowing in the heart of the earth. Where is the hidden ambrosia? Where is the hidden ambrosia? Where are they who brought this here? In the meantime, I saw a man. In the meantime, I saw a man. I had seen him many times crossing the pool. A long caravan is there, a long caravan crossing this unfathomable desert. He is now dead. with broken spectacle on his nose. Daily newspapers brought out his picture on the first page. A young man murdered in violence. He was innocent. Faith and deception are now sprawled in the gutter of these pools. A scene of the murdered people. We are onwards ever young, we will not die again, like a perpetual river, with its bloody forces taking fantastic voyages in the nautilus chamber of the human mind. We are onwards ever young, we will not die again, like a perpetual river, with its bloody forces taking fantastic voyages in the nautilus chamber of the human mind. To see, to desire in the every rising sun, I begun with sorrow and pleasure, these sharp logics, omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent am I. In the ice age, the sun would be born again. In the ice age, the sun would be born again in the cactus land with eternal tentacles tantalizing. We prick in ourselves alive on the pedestal, the screaming owls at night. Prickly pear, prickly pear, in the darkness of surroundings, like strange glowworms, thousand suns would appear. Like strange glowworms, thousand suns would appear. We must be aware of this time, lest the sun should set here, immortal and lawful. What will the weevils and the spiders do? What the prickly pear do privately in ourselves? Life is troubled with war, man is troubled with sorrow and fear, earth and sky with slavery, trees struck with burning, houses on fire, we are hopeless and painful. Wither world with a continuous fluidity. Wither world with a continuous fluidity. Tragedy is such profound, much profound. Tragedy is such profound, much profound. Murders and violence have crept under the pool. Murders and violence have crept under the pool. Gutters are flowing with bad images. What will you behold the scenes of such tragedies? What can I show you the images in my poems and stories of the ideas and ideals of the human tradition? Of the ideas and ideals of the human tradition, esteemed high in blood-sustaining forces, the strenuous bloodhounds living insinuated poking snares under the peevish gutters, with tired scenes of the murdered people in cruel rampage of violent waves. In cruel rampage of violent waves, man is not still defeated. Ruining human vital forces, or libels or false statements would slander her name in the fiery street. Randy forces, larrikin, and a riffraff innuendo, the life of human beings, and still man is alive on this earth. He is not ashamed of his bad character and corruptions behind. They walk around and look betrayingly. Man is not still defeated. Man is not still defeated. Must not be leading the humanity not purposelessly. Leading the humanity not purposelessly. We are in the dark age making a history of our own. In the dark mausoleum of saber-rattling nature, of worshipping like the war hounds, seeing the body bake on light attempts, showing fear, the window gave upon outside a scene of snares, of 3 little children playing on the sand dunes, struggling into their egos. The rivers stand broken or ennui. Fire set on, houses burned, cannons left in the thoughtless haven of love. Fire set on, houses burned, cannons left in the thoughtless haven of love. O devils, stop there. Stop within, a moment within contempt, the rivers stand broken, the fire sermons full fathom 5, jocund amplitude. A pathless ennui, the fire set on, bullets continue everywhere, signs of life were not, the fossils of life remain, a large crowd of literature, scholars, scientists rushing together, working, progressing. A large crowd of literature, scholars, scientists rushing together, working, progressing, ruins. What is to happen there? What will happen? What are the stars and planets doing in the horoscope of the world? Not uttering platitudes, here vivisection of ideas and ideals. Here vivisection of ideas and ideals. A country is left in lurch on the map of the earth. Poets are silent. What will they speak? What can they still remain silent forever? Poets will do nothing but only scientists can do whatever they want to show here. Walls are falling, trees too. What will remain in the earth? Only the fragments of them who are dead, their bodies have been crushed in blue star of ration, dead in violence, in air crash, in arson, or who died of hunger. A long caravan is there, attempting crossing this unfathomable desert. It will never stop. What happened true against Bhopalgarh's tragedy or Arval massacre? The game of chess. The game of chess. Arrest him. Mr. Gupta, shoot him. Murder, murder, hunger, hunger, violence, boo, few, unreal. A communist leader is dead, or a Congress leader. A communist leader is dead or a Congress leader, but I have nothing to do with any leader. Rifles, shooting, and boots are being captured for winning the laurels, those cunning ghosts. How many names are there in the voter list? Ballot papers have been captured at midnight by guns and rifles. When old creatures remain asleep, who won the match? Playing the game of chess, of corruption, on the table of soft submission of the people's mind. Still, I have no franchise, no privilege to live on the earth or to know how to live in peace. Another leader's knapsacks are also filled with atom bombs. Another leader's knapsacks are also filled with atom bombs. Now USA and USSR playing this game of chess to conquer the world or to get over all the natural forces. Their attempts still die. We are lacking internationally. Our children are being exploited here. How many will be sacrificed here like inarticulate animals with blessings of the God of creation? Without pity of war, I won't worship him because our children are being exploited in the wars unnecessarily. How many will be sacrificed here like inarticulate animals with blessings of the God of creation without pity of war? I won't worship him because our children are being exploited in the wars unnecessarily. Our mind is like a rotten raffia polluting the air. In the examinations, they weak are. What are the evolutionists doing here? And bacteriologists try to find out the germs which must be wiped from this limpid water of the Ganges, flowing with its vibrant vast streams, dreaming I would die, waiting, where all happened perpetually against one's ruin. SP Sahib with the soft taste of the tea and breakfast and tea at noon. Because he will flee away in the morning, in the evening, as he has no time, telling his people for some money. Let's stop these chop logics of the dog-eared pages of the mankind's history rampant everywhere. Let's stop the chop logics of the dog-eared pages of the mankind's history rampant everywhere. Judges are wrong against the judgment. Judges are wrong against the judgment. There is a great distance between man and man. It is true that we have got over earth and sky, but we have not united this distance between man and man up till now. But we have not united this distance between man and man up till now. The heart gets. Minister Sahib is laughing with a great joy. Minister Sahib is laughing with a great joy in the guest room. The guest room is filled with his admirers who have to make their selfish ends. Who have to make their selfish ends. All and sundry are prone to wrongdoings. All and sundry are prone to wrongdoings. He has won with such soft submission of the people. The room is filled with several types of admirers, poets, scholars, leaders who speak for the people. Poets, scholars, leaders who speak for the people, but how can they leave such opportunity? All and sundry are prone to wrongdoings. He has won with such soft submission of the people. The room is filled with several types of admirers, poets, scholars, leaders who speak for the people, but how can they leave such opportunity? And the downtrodden are in their own way. And the downtrodden are in their own way. I sleep now. Because I am feared now, I am tired now. Corruptions, prejudices, and have a smooth leads, the contempt within an earth, a sky, a tradition flowing with continuity. Corruptions, prejudices, and have a smooth leads, the contempt within an earth, a sky, a tradition flowing with continuity. Stretching its arms towards the future with such antic streams of the tumid river. Stretching its arms towards the future with such antic streams of the tumid river with incumbent lights on the box of future. Undying hues for the newcomers, out with the warm rain, the guilty summer. The hot gates are now dying controversies. Undying hues for the newcomers, out with the warm rain, the guilty summer. The hot gates are now dying controversies. Fearful negotiations in the dingy dingles and frolics with a tidal wave of love and peace. With thousand inseparable errands, do you think of the Beaufort's affairs for the destabilization? Confidential prizes will the Swedish give for the human freedom fighters. Confidential prizes will the Swedish give for the human freedom fighters. Now computers involved conquering. Now computers involved conquering the human mind. Now computers involved conquering the human mind, clambering thousand steps of immortality. Clambering thousand steps of immortality with such dying whispers and aviation. With such dying whispers and aviation, supercomputers quick aware, unemotional imbroglio through sterility. Pigs of the villages or the town pigs are more civilized than the human beings. Dogs are more skillful, and rats are in the alley wherein we are living more are they civilized than the human beings. The philomel of love and peace sings with joy on the trees of freedom. The broken palms of the human civilization and culture with such decayed homes on fire and beggars' tombs. The forgiving earth, the sacred soil, dead opportunities and skillful rhythm among rocky dances. Prolonged pains, throbbing, waiting with frozen palms. Motor cars, rails, or the photon rockets, photon bombs. Think now, think of such bombing. Think now, think of such bombing. The lost bird lost again. The lost bird lost again among whispers of immortality. The lost bird lost again among whispers of immortality. Oh, the self-generated arms of light. Oh, the self-guided flight. Oh, the self-wallowing pity, esteemed high on the self-cut path, untrodden. Stretching towards the future, oh, my poetry, thou wilt live for the unending centuries for the sake of humanity. From massacres and prison of wars, through a dying summer all bloody animals sauntered through airs and water of the atmosphere, there is but shadow. Procession. Procession, quick march. Gandhiji, Tolstoy, Lenin, Bhagat Singh. Still is peace not there, but violence only. Thousands and thousands murdered here. Accelerated in arms the future for the triumphal march quick again. Our thoughts have been captured into dark surroundings. What is about sheer bunk, World Bank looted. Our thoughts have been captured into dark surroundings. What's about sheer bunk, World Bank looted, black money in Swiss bank, and meditating in the penance grove, black money in Swiss bank, and meditating in the penance grove, in eternal bliss, in broken sepulchre of the heaven that lie in uniform delights. Of the heaven that lie in uniform delights, henceforth those flowers foliate. Henceforth those flowers foliate, with the tears in their eyes, steadily more and more, imbroglio of war, music thenceforth with dry grasses, the air snoozing, stoppered in the hyacinth garden. So slumberous and mute eyes of a devotee from the unknown, like Aspidistra flying. In a heap of anguishes, poets would be photogenic, and emotional squads coming. Poets would be photogenic, and emotional squads coming. They will have time bombs inside them. They will have time bombs inside them from which the poetry would be created with a malicious flavor of phosphorus, with beagle-eyed vulturine ambitions, with beagle-eyed vulturine ambitions. Oh, the poets of the TV era, come, come, come in the mesh of imprecision. Get over the hurt of the hearty people. Get over the hurts of the hearty people, anointed with mutinous and heavy spars in a heap of anguishes. In a heap of anguishes, a huge drop from the unknown comes. I realize the earthly time torn. A huge drop from the unknown comes. I realize the earthly time torn to soothe the self-aching path with the morn attempts dead and born. Life in date, since then free I have been, progressing in life in date. This world, ever since this creation is, ever more and more and more. Nothing but it could be imagined had a nuclear war been necessary for the human motto. For this teamless earth, it would have destroyed the world humanity, nothing more than a history, nothing more than but a history, a servitude of mankind. Breathing heavy sighs of sorrow and destruction, movies follow them, annihilating this tree, breeding a new leaf within a century. This tree, breeding a new leaf within a century, out of the desert, fiddling and vines of the future, admonishing love and peace time, beseeching for the humanity. My life be translated in a nanosecond. My life be translated in a nanosecond in the fatherland. My name would be taken out with a wife and some children, content breathing, celebrating sad ceremony of marriage. Celebrating such sad ceremony of marriage, and with penury itself, like a farmer plowing the field, or singing with a broken clarionet in the air, lying sighs in the ocean, like small conches and oysters